and Dr. John Tantillo. He's an applied research psychologist. Alison, John, great to see you both.
Great to be here.
You know, names are brands, and many political families here. Obviously, things have changed over the years, but Alison, how do you manage this? Chris Cuomo, you live and die by the name. Now it's not going so well for him. How can he help his brand?
Yeah, well, there's no privacy when you're in the public spotlight, right? And what's interesting is that, as you mentioned, Chris Cuomo had interviewed his governor, which is against the CNN rules, and they changed those rules for him during COVID. And now all of a sudden he came out the other night and said, I'm not going to interview my brother. Other journalists will. And he actually had an opportunity, I think, to save his own brand by interviewing his brother, asking him the questions, let him tell the story, let him defend himself. But he chose not to, or CNN chose not to, one or the other. But, you know, you have to address it head on, and you have to say, look, if your family member did something, you obviously love your family member, but let them handle the issue. Let them answer those questions. Just try and stay out of it.
John, do you agree with that?
Yeah, but you know, I'm coming from this from a branding perspective, and this is an example of family brand strategy, where the family name is associated with individual brands. So take Toyota Prius and Toyota Camry, and Kellogg's Corn Flakes and Kellogg's Rice Krispies. So what happens, if you remember with Toyota, who had an airbag trouble problem, the entire line is affected by the family brand name. And I think that this is what we are seeing here now. And I would think that what should be done is there should be a little bit of distancing. And I think that that's the smart way to go.
You know, Alison, to your point, I'm sure, you know, if it were my brother, we'd be having these kinds of conversations. You really want to know what happened. Give me the honest truth here. And that's really, I think, if you're going to interview a family member, you have to have the same conversation that you'd have with your brother or your sister or your dad or your mom or whatever. The same conversation you have in private, you got to share it with the audience. Otherwise, the audience is going to know you're being less than sincere with them.
Yeah, you have to be authentic. And when Chris Cuomo came out and he said, you know, let me explain things and I need to speak to my audience, this was his opportunity to be that person that people could trust by asking those difficult questions, by asking those questions.
And he's going with that whole, I'm sorry you were offended. I didn't mean to hurt you. That never flies, never flies. Real quick, guys, we got about 30 seconds left. I wanted to ask you about this branding move because Amazon has yanked its app icon after people said somehow this resembled Adolf Hitler, the one on the left here. John, good move or bad move from Amazon?
Oh, yeah. Look, what you don't want to do is do any harm to your brand. If it's harming your brand, pull it. It's that simple.
But Alison, people seem to see Hitler and Nazi stuff everywhere nowadays.
I mean, look, you could have a circle and somebody would have something to say about it, right? It doesn't matter. There's always going to be people that are offended. I don't see it, but look, I think it's just, I don't really think it was a good idea for them to pull it. I mean, what's next, right?
I know. I squinted so hard. I tried. I couldn't, I can't. Maybe I'm not creative enough, I guess. And maybe that's a good thing. I don't know. Alison, John, we'll see you next week. Thanks so much.
Thank you.
Take care.